Welcome back to the Figuring It Out podcast. And this week, I want to actually explore the opposite of traveling. So bear with me on this one. I want to talk about the times between traveling and how to make them more meaningful and how to make them less about thinking about the next trip, reminiscing on the last trip. Because, of course, after every good trip, there's always that moment, for me anyway, when I get back and I go onto social media, TikTok, Instagram, and all I can really think about is the trip and what the next trip's going to be. And sometimes it's quite hard to appreciate the life that we have right in front of us. So that's why for this episode, I want to talk about some of the things that I do between trips and how I use them to make life a bit more meaningful, have a bit more purpose, and so that when I've come back from my trips, I actually have a life that I look forward to getting back to. And I will admit, I'm one of those people who does always like to have a holiday booked or something booked to look forward to. But I did want to just share some of those things in between trips that really do give life a little bit more purpose and make each day feel a bit more bright, a bit more energetic. And I'm going to start with fitness, just because fitness is such a good way to improve your physical and your mental health, which we hear about a lot of the time, about different fitness plans, different things we can do to stay in shape. And I wanted to start by just saying the mental effects that fitness have. Although obviously the physical effects can be amazing, I think it's also important to consider that just getting outside, even for a short walk every day, can kind of do wonders for your mental health. And I found that after I started doing more walks, I definitely felt better. So I kind of converted that to running. And last year I did a half marathon. That was quite a big challenge for me. I've never really been into running before, but I started running and I set myself that challenge. And after a few months of training, I did it. I was proud of myself and it was just a good thing, a good goal to have. It was a big goal, I'll admit, but it's all about those small steps, starting small, building your way up. And I decided this year, although I enjoyed running, I wanted to try something new in terms of fitness. So I've been more into my gym training at the moment, aiming to sort of add on more muscle. And the long term goal with that, I think, would be to try out some sort of PT training course, because I'd love to be able to coach other people as well and make them feel good about themselves physically and mentally. And also just trying other new activities. I think when it comes to fitness, it's so vast. It doesn't have to be one size fits all. So I tried a new activity just this last weekend. I tried bouldering and I really enjoyed it. I'd done a bit of wall climbing in the past, but it was just something that I just thought would be really good to try out, something new. And I really enjoyed it. And if I hadn't done either, that would be fine. There's always new things that you can try. I'm quite keen to try a couple of different activities. For example, I've never skied before, but having all these things and these things that we can try and little challenges we give ourselves, I find it really helps me just feel better when I'm back home, I'm between trips, and I'm in a place where maybe I have a bit more free time in between work. I don't just want to go to work and go home. It's just good to have those activities you can do. And with things like running, there's plenty of run clubs. With other activities, there's lots of clubs you can do, which obviously also feeds into that kind of social side of life when you're not traveling. I, for one, kind of find when I travel, I meet a lot of people. I stay at hostels, chat to people all the time. So it can be quite strange to go back home and just not have that kind of the sort of social life that you would have when you travel. But it doesn't really have to be that way. And for that reason, I do try and put myself out there to do a lot of different social activities. And that can be through anything such as meetup groups. There's some good websites online for meeting up with people, but also volunteer work. Now, I've tried a few different volunteer works in the past. One of them's been a homeless outreach project. Another one is volunteering for men's mental health groups. I facilitate for a group called Andy's Man Club. They have clubs all over the UK, so that's definitely something that if you're interested in, you should look up. It's every Monday, 7 till 9. And that's just allowed me to meet a lot of great, like-minded people, and also to feel like I'm just giving back a little bit. And things like this just lead to good connections and good friendships. And then it can lead to other meetups or even just grabbing coffee with a friend or something that gives you sort of a bit of sense of well-being. I'll also add after that different hobbies that I have. And these courses include new hobbies that I've started recently or things that I hadn't done much of in the past and just wanted to try. For example, at the moment, I'm learning the guitar. I've had a guitar sat in my room for a number of years that I generally just hadn't picked up, and I decided recently, right, that's it. I'm gonna pay a tutor and I'm just gonna learn. And ever since then, I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed learning new chords, learning bits of songs, and just improving every week. And also having like an online tutor or even an in-person tutor, it just allows me to kind of push myself to keep practicing and keep trying. And I generally do try and pick it up every day. And it's just something that I enjoy. It's something I can do whilst I'm at home. And it's something that doesn't take very long. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. And I think these little daily activities that take 5 or 10 minutes can make such a difference to my day. I mean, it's very easy to sit in bed and to just kind of doom scroll for hours on end, but I find when I get up and I do something meaningful, productive, like practicing the guitar or reading a book or anything that just gets me up and out. I've recently started trying to do 10 press ups every time I get out of bed. It's not a big number, but also it's enough to get me out of bed, get my blood flowing, and get me ready for the day ahead. And anything like that, I find, is a really good way to just start your day and to just carry on as you mean to go. Another thing, I love coffee. I really enjoy making a coffee in the morning, and little things like that, those little moments in life, being in the present and just enjoying them can make such a big difference. So I like to make myself a coffee and then just step outside. If it's cold, it doesn't really matter. Just even if it's just a few seconds, just to breathe in some fresh air, I find to me that just makes such a big difference to my day. Finding joy in those little things, I find really does help because there's the big things. We go away, we go on different trips, and I have an amazing time. But I also like to sometimes just take a step back and realize that I'm a very lucky person. You do hear a lot of the self-help gurus telling you how beneficial gratitude is, and I think it is good to a degree. I'm not one of those people who gets up out of bed and says 10 things they're grateful for. But at the end of every day, just thinking about one or two things that have gone well rather than what's gone wrong can really help me. And I do a lot of this through journaling. I really enjoy keeping a journal to mainly track each day, to track the practical things I have to do, but also to just track how I'm feeling and track what's gone well that particular day. And although I said not to focus on what's gone wrong, it's also good to focus on where to improve because in life, you can win or you can learn, and learning can sometimes be the best lesson that you have. And by journaling and writing things through, it can really help you kind of figure out where you are in life and ways you want to improve and different things that you want to do. So I definitely recommend getting a journal or just any kind of book and a bit of paper and just writing it out how you feel because it helps me a tremendous amount, and I think a lot of people would get something out of journaling. I'm keeping this episode relatively short, but I just want to end by saying that motivation doesn't appear every single day. You won't wake up every day and feel motivated. However, consistency, however small, will beat motivation any day. If you're just consistent with something, however small, and you keep it up, maybe even not every day, maybe you skip a day every so often, but if you keep it up for a long enough amount of time, you will see improvement. I hear a lot of people saying 1% better every day. Just aim for 1% better. Just do the things that you enjoy and create a life outside of travel. And that's just something that you can do just to keep you going in between trips to enjoy life. And then when you get back from those trips, you're not feeling like you've got a life that you needed to escape from. You just feel like you travel to not escape life, but to not allow life to escape you.